Major hardware chains are gutting tool quality behind warranty loopholes and cheap powdered metal while charging tool truck prices. One store stole an independent inventor's patented wrench design, shipped it to China, and used corporate lawyers to dodge a $12 million judgment. Here are the 5 worst hardware chains destroying customer trust, and the 5 best ones beating the big brands at their own game. Number 1. Sears. Sears used to be the standard. Craftsman built its name on real domestic forging relationships with Western Forge and ASCO, and backed that name with a promise that actually meant something. Bring in a broken wrench, walk out with a new one, no questions, no receipt, no argument at the counter. That was the entire pitch, and for decades it worked. Then in 2012, Sears did something that still shows up in law school case studies. An inventor named Dan Brown Sr. had spent years developing the bionic wrench, a multi-socket gripping wrench manufactured in Pennsylvania under 2 U.S. patents. Sears sold it. Customers loved it. Then Sears canceled the order and partnered with Apex Tool Group to build a nearly identical tool in China, called the Craftsman Max Access, and put it on shelves at $11.99 against Loggerhead's $24.99. Brown sued. Loggerhead Tools versus Sears Holding Corp. And Apex Tool Group filed in the Northern District of Illinois. A federal jury found willful infringement under U.S. patent numbers 6,883,401 and 7,992,470, awarding Loggerhead $5.97 million, a figure the judge doubled to nearly $12 million in treble damages. Then, in 2017, the court vacated the entire verdict based on a revised interpretation of one phrase, gripping element, one redefined term, and nearly $12 million evaporated. Winning in front of a jury means nothing if a corporation has the legal budget to get a judge to redefine a single word after the fact. Sears didn't need a better wrench, they needed a better law firm, and they had one. What's left of Sears today isn't a hardware retailer anymore. It's a name on a building, with no forging authority behind it, and no warranty infrastructure to back it up. Sears got caught on the record in federal court. The next chain on this list never got sued for anything. Their move was completely legal, and it's arguably worse for your wallet. Number 2. Lowe's. Lowe's isn't struggling financially, that's not the story here. The story is what happened to the tools on their shelves while the balance sheet stayed healthy. Lowe's spent years de-emphasizing its own Cobalt hand tool line, the one it actually owned and controlled, in favor of Stanley Black & Decker's offshored Craftsman lineup and Chervon's Flex platform. At the same time, what used to be a seamless in-store exchange turned into a process with actual friction built in. Forms, questions, delays. If you tear down a Cobalt 24-volt battery pack, the internal components reveal a direct Chervon manufacturing lineage. Chervon builds both Cobalt's 24-volt line and Menards Masterforce Boost series using premium 21,700 lithium-ion cells and similar brushless motor drivers. But because Masterforce runs a 5-cell 20-volt architecture and Cobalt uses a 6-cell 24-volt platform, the internal battery management system circuits and plastic terminal keying prevent pack swapping. Your loyalty to a platform isn't loyalty to a unique motor design. It's loyalty to Chervon electronics wrapped in brand-specific plastic housing. Lowe's is playing games with brand loyalty. The next chain on this list is playing games with your receipt. Number 3. The Home Depot. Home Depot's Husky line still gets forged. That's more than you can say for the bottom of this list. But watch where the forging contracts have moved. Husky's cost reduction engineering has systematically shifted production away from Taiwanese plants and toward lower-cost mainland Chinese facilities, one supplier contract at a time, with no press release announcing it. Then there's the warranty. Home Depot's written policy guarantees lifetime replacement on basic hand tools. That's the corporate position in writing on file. But documented customer reports, over and over, describe associates at the counter demanding an original store receipt for a Husky hand tool exchange, a requirement that simply does not exist in the actual warranty language. The tool has lifetime warranty stamped into the metal. The person behind the counter has been trained, formally or informally, to ask for a piece of paper that policy never required. That gap between what's written and what happens at the register isn't an accident. And it isn't a training oversight repeated by coincidence at thousands of locations. It's the mechanism. A stamped warranty is a marketing asset. What happens at the counter is the actual business model, and the business model runs on friction. Home Depot at least makes tools that get forged somewhere, even if that somewhere keeps getting cheaper. The next entry on this list doesn't clear that bar at all. Number 4. Hyper-budget big box, Walmart and Target's general hardware aisles. This isn't about a lower price point, it's a different category of object entirely. The general merchandise hardware aisles at mass retailers stock tools almost exclusively from bottom-tier OEMs running cheap pot metal, unheat-treated low-carbon steel, and metal injection molded components produced without proper sintering control. There's no technical support if something fails, and no open stock replacement parts. Metal injection molding mixes fine metal powder with a polymer binder, injects that feedstock into a mold, then debinds and sinters it under heat. Done incorrectly, with sintering parameters that drift even slightly, the part retains subsurface voids where metal particles fail to fuse. Put one of these failed pawls under a micro CT scanner, and you can see the microscopic porosity sitting right where torsional stress concentrates. Under shock loading, the fracture propagates rapidly along those internal voids and grain boundaries, shearing clean without bending. People get this wrong about cheap tools. This isn't a case of paying less and getting a softer, weaker version of the same steel. It's a structural defect baked into the manufacturing process itself. The tool isn't just likely to fail under load, it ships with the failure point already inside it, waiting for the right torque to find it. That's a tool failure, one broken ratchet at a time. The last entry on the worst half of this list is a supply chain failure, and it's coming for a lot more independent hardware stores that don't move fast enough. Number 5. Distressed and unconsolidated wholesale networks. In October of 2024, True Value Company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in Delaware, case number 24-12337, after years of financial distress under private equity ownership. While a major co-op stepped in to purchase the assets, independent retailers that didn't transition into a unified cooperative framework in time got left behind with broken wholesale relationships, disrupted credit lines, severe stockouts on basic hardware, and climbing distributor markups with zero leverage to push back. Going independent doesn't guarantee survival through grit alone. Without real cooperative purchasing scale behind you, independent simply means you're vulnerable when the regional distributor above you collapses. That's the bottom 5. Sears sold out an inventor. Lowe's locked you into a battery platform that isn't actually proprietary. Home Depot built friction into its own warranty. The big box aisles are selling tools with failure points already built into the metal, and the independents who didn't move fast enough got left holding empty shelves. Now flip the script, because the same forces that gutted these 5 chains are exactly what built the 5 that are winning right now. And the first one is a chain most people still write off as a cheap import liquidator. Number 5, Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight is privately held by its founder, Eric Schmidt, and that ownership structure matters more than people give it credit for, because nobody there is answering to a quarterly earnings call. What Harbor Freight actually built is a direct-to-consumer arbitrage model. They established direct OEM relationships with Tier 1 forging facilities in Taichung, Taiwan, cutting out the layers of wholesale distribution everyone else on this list is still paying for. Their Icon line was built specifically to go after the tool truck incumbents, replicating professional-grade ergonomic design and forging specs at a fraction of the shelf price. Here's the proof, and it didn't come from a marketing department, it came from a dynamometer. Torque Test Channel ran a destructive test on 3/8-inch drive flex head ratchets, pitting the $59.99 Icon G2 against the $189 Snap-on FL80. The Icon G2 held up to 310 foot-pounds of torque before its drive anvil sheared. The Snap-on FL80 failed at 280 foot-pounds. The cheaper tool outlasted the tool truck brand by 30 foot-pounds under controlled, repeatable load. The $189 ratchet lost on ultimate shear strength, plain and simple. While Snap-on loyalists argue that long-term tooth fatigue life under daily contamination is where tool truck steel pays off, a 400 to 500% price gap isn't just paying for metallurgy. It's funding a delivery truck, a sales rep's salary, and a franchise financing structure. Harbor Freight proved the factory matters more than the logo stamped on the handle. The next chain on this list proved something different, that the person behind the counter matters more than the corporation above them. Number 4. Ace Hardware. Ace isn't a corporate chain pretending to be local. It's a retailer-owned cooperative, more than 5,000 independently operated locations, and that structure changes everything about how it competes. Instead of a head office in another state dictating planogram resets twice a year, individual store owners curate inventory for their actual customers, the actual trades working in that actual town. That's a fundamentally different supply chain philosophy, and it's why Ace doesn't have to win on price to win on loyalty. Think back to Home Depot's receipt wall, the associate demanding a printed slip for a warranty that never required one. Now picture the Ace dealer who sold you tools for 6 years, who knows your name and usually knows what job you're working on when you walk in. That dealer doesn't need a receipt to remember selling you that wrench. The relationship is the record. Every other chain on this list is racing to get bigger, add square footage, and consolidate more locations under one roof. Ace's advantage runs the opposite direction. It gets stronger the smaller and more local each individual store stays. That's the entire model, functioning exactly as designed. Ace protected the independent dealer relationship at the store level, but it took an actual bankruptcy filing to prove just how badly the independent channel needed structural backup behind the scenes, and one company stepped up to buy the entire safety net. Number 3, do it best absorbing true value. We already covered the bankruptcy itself in the worst 5. True Value filed Chapter 11 in Delaware in October of 2024, and Do It Best came in as the stalking horse bidder, securing court approval for the $153 million acquisition by late 2024 before closing the transaction in early 2025. Here's the number that matters. That merger created an 8,000-store global cooperative network with roughly $6 billion in combined annual purchasing power. Think back to what happened to the independents who didn't make that transition in time. Stockouts, disrupted credit lines, zero leverage. Now look at what happened to the ones who did make the jump. In about 6 months, they went from vulnerable single-store buying power to being part of a $6 billion purchasing engine that can negotiate against Home Depot and Lowe's on genuinely even footing. A bankruptcy filing isn't automatically the death of a retail category the way it played out for Sears. Sometimes it's the forcing function that finally drags a fragmented, disorganized industry into something consolidated enough to actually compete. True Value's collapse didn't kill the independent hardware channel. It rebuilt it $6 billion stronger. Co-ops fixed the wholesale side of this equation. But one regional chain figured out how to beat Chervon's own national OEM partners at their own game, using the exact same manufacturing hub. Number 2, Menards. Menards is privately owned by Menard Inc., and it runs a strategy that looks almost old-fashioned next to the national chains. Massive store footprints, low overhead, and direct industrial sourcing agreements that cut out layers of corporate bureaucracy entirely. Its Masterforce tool line benefits from a strategic OEM alliance directly with Chervon, delivering commercial-grade brushless motor platforms at prices built for a homeowner's budget, not a contractor's expense account. Here's the overlap most shoppers never think to check. The Masterforce Boost 20-volt platform traces back to the exact same Chervon manufacturing hub in Nanjing as Lowe's Cobalt 24-volt line. Same brushless motor architecture, same manufacturing lineage, sold through a regional Midwest chain at a lower price than the national retailer carrying what is functionally the sibling product. Being a regional player with no coast-to-coast footprint looks like a weakness on paper. In the hand tool and power tool business, it's the opposite. It's exactly what lets Menards negotiate lean OEM deals directly with Chervon without the SKU bloat, the extra corporate layers, and the national marketing overhead baked into Lowe's and Home Depot's pricing before the product ever reaches the shelf. Menards proved you don't need a national footprint to win the OEM negotiating game. The last chain on this list proves something even more direct. You don't even need to sell to homeowners at all to build the strongest tool business on this entire list. Number 1. Northern Tool plus Equipment. Northern Tool is family-owned, and it built its entire business model around a customer that Home Depot and Lowe's actively avoid designing for. The contractor, the agricultural operator, the heavy equipment mechanic who uses a tool 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and finds every weakness in it within the first month. Northern Tool differentiates itself through something almost nobody else on this list can claim: direct manufacturing parentage. They don't license the North Star name for pressure washers and generators. They own that manufacturing outright. Their Clutch House brand delivers high-duty cycle industrial equipment without any of the retail packaging fluff built for a DIY homeowner aisle. Home Depot and Lowe's are chasing homeowner foot traffic while building warranty friction specifically designed to limit hand tool claims from casual users. Northern Tool skips that customer segment entirely. They sell straight to the buyer running a fleet of equipment daily, the exact customer who'd expose a cheap casting or a weak weld within a single week of real use, because that's literally their job. Owning your own manufacturing, the way Northern Tool owns North Star, is a stronger long-term business moat than owning a legacy brand name like Craftsman with none of the original domestic factories still standing behind it. A name is just a name once the factory that earned it is gone. A factory you actually own can't get sold out from under you by a private equity firm chasing an exit. That's the full audit. 5 chains gutting their own tools from the inside, 1 legal maneuver, 1 receipt policy, 1 sintering shortcut at a time. 5 chains doing the opposite, using factories, cooperatives, and direct sourcing to actually beat the tool truck at its own game. If you only remember one number out of this entire video, remember this one. That massive tool truck markup pays for a delivery driver and a franchise loan, not better engineering. The same factory in Taichung forged that $60 ratchet and the $190 brand on the exact same dies in the exact same production run. Stop funding corporate markups and start buying straight from the source. Drop a comment with which store caught you off guard. Subscribe for our next supply chain audit, and tap the video on your screen to keep watching.